Hello everyone. It's us, the TV Days Drama Digest team, here to bring you an exclusive, full-blown breakdown of today's gripping and intense episode. We know you've been on the edge of your seats, and if you happen to miss today's action-packed drama, don't worry, we're here to fill you in on every jaw-dropping moment from Wednesday, September 18th. To start things off, fans of the show have been speculating for weeks about who really stabbed Rafe and killed Lee, and today, the truth finally came crashing down like a tidal wave of chaos. Jada and Rafe, after much investigation and piecing together the scattered clues, came to a horrifying conclusion: the culprit behind all the bloodshed is none other than the deviously cunning cuckoo Connie. Yes, you heard it right, Connie. The seemingly unpredictable woman who has been lurking in the shadows, is the one responsible for this vicious crime spree. Her dark obsession with Lee and her twisted vendetta against those around her have turned her into a ticking time bomb, ready to explode. Jada, with her sharp detective instincts, realized the truth just in time. She launched an urgent investigation into Connie's whereabouts, determined to bring her to justice. Meanwhile, Rafe, still recovering from his own near-fatal encounter with Connie, was frantic. He knew that Gabby, who was completely unaware of the danger closing in on her, was Connie's next target. Desperately, Rafe tried to get a message to Gabby, warning her about the deadly threat that was now headed straight for her. At the same time, across town, Connie's malevolent plans were already in motion. Melinda, one of Connie's earlier captives, had somehow managed to free herself. In a moment of sheer determination, she slipped out of her bindings and made a break for the door. But freedom was fleeting. As Melinda reached for the handle, Connie, ever the predator, appeared out of nowhere. With a swift and brutal strike, Connie knocked Melinda to the ground, leaving her defenseless and bleeding. Enter Jada. With no time to waste, Jada stormed into Connie's apartment, only to be greeted by a gruesome and unsettling sight. Blood was everywhere, splattered across the floor, a chilling reminder of the violence that had taken place mere moments before. Heart-pounding, Jada cautiously moved deeper into the apartment. Every creak of the floorboard, every flicker of movement, sent shivers down her spine. She drew her gun, her breath coming in shallow, anxious bursts. Then, with a slow, deliberate push, she opened the bedroom door. Lying on the bed, in a grotesque display, was a giant cardboard cutout of Lee Shin. It was eerily lifelike, posed as if waiting for Connie's return. The entire room was a shrine to her madness. There were ropes, signs of a violent struggle, and scattered around the bed were mementos of Lee, a man who Connie clearly could not let go, even in death. Blood stained the sheets, a morbid testament to Connie's earlier actions. It became horrifyingly clear to Jada that Connie had staged the scene for her own twisted reasons, placing Lee's cutout in her bed like a sick reminder of her obsession. And as if that weren't enough, there were ominous signs that Connie had temporarily dragged Melinda back to this very room, her body limp and helpless, only to move her once again to another unknown location. But where had Connie taken her? Jada's mind raced. Time was running out, and she knew Connie had a dangerous plan brewing. Every second that passed brought Connie closer to carrying out her next horrific act. Clues led Jada to believe that Connie had transported Melinda to the infamous DeMera mansion, a place riddled with its own dark secrets. It was here, in the mansion's ominous and shadowy basement, that Jada suspected Connie was keeping her latest victims. But Connie wasn't finished. She still had Gabby in her sights, and a confrontation was inevitable. Meanwhile, over at the DeMera mansion, Gabby had no idea that the walls were closing in around her. Connie, with a crazed look in her eyes, finally revealed herself. Without warning, she pulled out the very knife she had used to stab Rafe, the blade gleaming wickedly in the dim light. Gabby's heart raced as she realized the gravity of the situation. She was face to face with a madwoman, a woman hell-bent on destruction. The confrontation between Gabby and Connie was nothing short of explosive. In a frantic struggle, Gabby fought to keep Connie's blade from finding its mark. The room seemed to close in on them as they wrestled for control. But Connie, ever resourceful and unpredictable, wasn't going to be defeated so easily. With a swift, savage blow, she knocked Gabby unconscious, leaving her defenseless. What happened next was something straight out of a horror movie. Connie, using every ounce of her strength, dragged Gabby's lifeless form down into the mansion's secret underground room. The air was thick with tension as Gabby was bound and locked away, right next to Melinda, who was already trapped in her own nightmarish predicament. Now both women were at the mercy of Connie's deranged mind. But Gabby wasn't one to go down without a fight. Despite her dire circumstances, she managed to devise a plan that could either save them or seal their fate. In a daring, last-ditch effort, Gabby set a bomb to explode, hoping to create enough chaos to make her escape. But the clock is ticking, and the danger is far from over. The explosion is bound to send shockwaves through the mansion, and the aftermath could be catastrophic. Meanwhile, over at the hospital, Rafe was struggling with his own demons. As he lay recovering, Roman Brady paid him a visit. Their conversation quickly turned to Gabby's new assistant, who they now believed might be connected to Connie's schemes. Roman, ever the man of action, vowed to help Rafe track down Gabby before it was too late. Together, they would set off on a mission to bring Connie to justice and save Gabby from her clutches. Elsewhere, Stefan was busy at the bistro, trying to make his own moves. After much persuasion, he had finally convinced Ava to stick around and continue her work at the restaurant. But Stefan's motives weren't entirely selfless. He offered Ava a job at the bistro, hoping to keep her close. But when Ava questioned how Gabby would react to this new arrangement, Stefan's response was cold and detached. He no longer cared about Gabby's feelings or what happened to her. His focus was now elsewhere, and that shift in attitude did not go unnoticed by Ava. For a brief moment, Ava allowed herself to believe that maybe things were finally turning in her favor. She felt a glimmer of hope that her luck was changing, that she could find some stability in the chaos. But that hope was short-lived. Stefan, misinterpreting Ava's newfound optimism, assumed she wanted to rekindle their past relationship, a dangerous mix of business and pleasure. When Ava reacted with anger, Stefan realized he had made a terrible mistake. But that's not the worst of it. Neither Ava nor Stefan realize that Connie is closing in on them as well. With her lethal tendencies and unpredictable behavior, their lives are about to be thrown into turmoil in ways they never expected. The stakes are higher than ever, and no one is safe with Connie on the loose. We hope you enjoyed it and look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe TV Days Drama Digest for more updates on Days of Our Lives.